So here's another lab that I'm going to quickly walk through. As you should have about 2 actual strips of pegboard. I'm going to show you to this with the longer one. This is the 37 hole pegboard. Now the reason we go with 37 is that does make our middle hole, hole 19, and we can start out just by showing students that when we actually suspend the pegboard in hole 19, it will basically level itself out. And then of course what we want to bring in next is the ideas behind, if we look at the pieces of PVC you have here, they're kind of essentially, the units would be 1, 2, and 3. Now they're not necessarily any standard unit like a gram or an ounce, but these are just 5, 10, and 15 centimeters. And so what we can do then is with the holes, we can compare, for example, the 2 different types of PVC that we have. One is relatively thin. This is actually vacuum piping. And then one is a little bit thicker. This is standard PVC. So that's why it is a little bit thicker. And then we can just ask the students, even before we let go, if they think one side's going to be heavier than another. And one of the key ideas there is that we still are keeping the fulcrum right in the middle. And sure enough, as we can see here, the vacuum piping is a little bit heavier than the standard PVC piping. Even though, of course, and that's when we bring up the discussion, we can see that the vacuum piping's has a much greater diameter, but the PVC itself is actually thicker. But this one is heavier. Now, one thing we can then sometimes do to our students to draw curiosity is what might happen then if I move this hook. So if I move this hook, say I had it at the very last hole, now I'm moving it 4 from the end, and you'll see that 4, I'm actually going to go through 3rd from the end, and all of a sudden what we're able to see is that the 2 basically balance perfectly. And then a discussion worth having with your students is, did I change the weight of this piece of PVC? In which case the answer, obviously we did not change its weight. The word mass is in the curriculum, but I don't know if we really need to use mass. But we can talk about the fact that sometimes changing a system, and that's what we're really doing here, changing a system does balance it. Now I'm going to go back and put the PVC out here again, in the last hole. Another thing that you can do here is, for example, I currently have the system so that we have 1 on that side, and I had 1 on that side of different types of PVC. Now using the exact same piping, the vacuum piping, I'm going to put 3 on this side and 1 on this side. And again, we can ask our students, but I think they will quickly know why 1 goes this direction and 1 goes the other. What we can then do is grab another S hook, put it in our piece of piping that, like I say, I just call this piece of piping number 2, 2 units and 1 unit. And we can then see that 1 unit plus 2 units on this side is actually a little bit heavier than 1 unit or 3 units on that side. And of course, the reason that is because of my little S hook. I don't know, cameraman, can you get the S hook in there for me?
Yeah, I got it.
Is that in? Okay, and now, so when each side has 15 centimeters of piping and 2 S hooks on each side, we can see that it levels out again. And so this can just become a discussion. Now, once again, you should have 3 different types of piping in there. 2 PVCs, the thin PVC and the thicker PVC that I had up earlier. And then the black piping is called ABS. And so between that and being able to slide from side to side, for example, we could move these 15 units, say just 3 from the center. And I could do the exact same on the other side. I could move it, instead of 3 from the center, maybe we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the center. And we ask our students what we think is going to happen when I let go of the pegboard. And hopefully students will begin to see generalizations of what happens when we move things. And they're not equidistant. But when they are, when they're both the same distance from the center and they have the same number of units, that it balances out. Okay, there are some other ways that you can use the pegboard that I'll talk about in future videos, such as moving the fulcrum or the center S hook. But those are some things for you to experiment in class. All right, have a great day.